Welcome back, everybody. We're here for another edition of Cats coverage on the Field of 68 network. We've got producer Tim who decided to join us for this podcast. We love when he jumps in. He's not here all the time, but usually behind the scene. We're glad to have him tonight for his takes on Kentucky basketball. And we got Michael Epps live from EKU. Is that where you said you are, Michael?
Yeah, man, they had a late tip for this game against Florida Gulf Coast. Pretty big ASUN conference game. I think it's on ESPNU, so that's why it got bumped from normally 7. They're bumped it down to 9. So about to get ready for this game. Go shoot quick highlights, then run back to the station, throw those in for our show tonight. So busy day. I just got back from Nash a few hours ago from the game last night. So it's been a grind, but a good grind.
Yeah, man, the man's all over the place. Just got back from Nashville. He's in Richmond right now, repping Fox 56, just doing the sports life. So, Michael, thanks for giving us some of your time here tonight. I know you're in between games. Tim, how you doing, man?
Hey, doing good. Just kind of the typical stuff, but EKU is where I graduated from, so roll Kearns.
There you
Go
go.
Kearns, let's go.
But what we're here to really just break down is, we've not talked since before Tennessee. So we've got a win and a loss under our belt, and a 1-1 in that stretch, and over the last 4 or 5 days. But Michael he's got to go back on TV soon, so we only get to have him for a few minutes. But Michael, I wanted to kind of start off. Let's quickly, maybe we can go back and look back at the Tennessee game. It feels to me, honestly, like these games just get I'm on to the next one, but it feels like the Tennessee was a while back ago, even though it was just last Saturday. I know it was a big blowout. We gave up 100 and whatever points at home, the most under Cal at Rupp. What's your kind of quick reflection back on that Tennessee game before we get into the Vanderbilt one?
Yeah, 103.92. I think it was pretty stunning because, I've covered, this is my third season covering UK hoops. And the buzz in the arena is just like, what I grew up with Michigan State and Michigan. The Michigan State game is always the biggest game of the year. It's what you circle on the calendar, and that's Tennessee, Kentucky, and it's so much fun. I the game 2 years ago when Ty went crazy and they just dominated Tennessee. That one was a lot of fun to cover. So I was excited for this one, man. The crowd was rocking. They were loud. They got there so early, and I was like, man, this is about to be awesome. And then, oh, man, punched in the mouth. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. Because I was really looking forward to a great atmosphere, and those fans got quiet quick, man. And they got back in it. They did. Because the Cats got back in it, cut it to like 4 right before halftime. But then there's that loose ball that they didn't dive for or dove late. And then it led to like a car alley-oop pass. And I was just like, like that would have been a moment to like tie it before half. Second half starts, Tennessee goes on a run again. Cut it to 8 there when Rob was going crazy. Reed hit a 3. Cut it to 8, I think. And then that was as close as it got there late. And just couldn't quite get there, man. It was tough. It was tough to watch if you're a Cats fan for sure.
Yeah, Tim, Michael described it as punched in the mouth. I would definitely say I agree with him. How would you describe that game against Tennessee on Saturday?
That's exactly how I would say it. I mean, I was excited. Fans were excited. Like Michael said, people were getting there early. I saw some students bring a TV and their PlayStation there and sat in line. And, I kind of saw that picture. I was like, how are they going to get that back if they're, front of the line?
I wonder the same thing.
Yeah. But I mean, everybody was excited for it. And then first 2 minutes, it's just like, damn, that's it. I mean, they played catch up the entire game. There's a few moments where I was, entertained and watching the game, but Rob was really the only reason that game was entertaining in any way.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like you all both described it pretty well. It was the prime college basketball atmosphere, a good old Saturday in Rupp, fans packed out early, ready to go, and Kentucky kind of threw a clunker out for them. Disappointed. They gave that one away, and from the jump, it felt over. Now Tennessee did come out extremely, extremely hot. I think they started off 5 for 8 from the three. I mean, you can play a little bit better defense, but like when teams are hitting, there's not a whole lot you can do. But so Kentucky started off from the jump down a lot. Thank God Rob Dillingham went off in the first half because and the second half, but in the first half, he kept it from being somewhat respectable instead of being down 30 at halftime. They cut it back pretty quickly, and then bam, right out of the second half, they got down again by like 10 to 15 points, somewhere in that range. And the whole second half was just trying to climb back, and they never really did. It was about a 10-point game just about that whole time, kind of fluctuating a little bit, and ended up giving up 103 points inside of Rupp. And I can definitely say the thing that I'm most disappointed in, it's not that like it's the end of the world. We lost to a top 6 team in Rupp. Like this, it's still a good Tennessee team. And I understand that there's ways to lose that game. There's a lot worse ones that you can lose. But my thing is that I'm really bent out of shape over is Rupp Arena, Mecca of college basketball. You've got 20 something thousand fans in there, and they were all there that game. And you allow 103 points on your home floor. Like to me, that's just like disrespectful in a way. It's like you let a team come in and take your lunch money and then kind of spit back in your face as they walked out the door. And that just kind of it was a big stab in the chest. I know Kentucky's got a lot they got to work out, but like whatever happened to home court advantage, man? I mean, Tennessee they always show up. They always show out in fans. But like I have my takeaways, I felt like that was the more least that they've had in prior games that I've been to. Tennessee fans always show up for this matchup, home and away. And it's probably in my quick assessment, there was 10 or 15% Tennessee fans, and I'm used to like the 25% at least. So I thought, it was definitely Kentucky owned the atmosphere, but Tennessee owned the court. And the Cats got punched in the mouth.
Yeah, it's tough. I was at both games over the course of the week. The Florida game, they gave up what, like 90 something? So you're talking about 200 points almost. It probably ended up being, it was like 92 maybe. So like plus 103, now 195 or something. Like,
Yeah.
man, that's a lot in 2 games on your home floor. So that was tough. And they still, they gave up probably a little bit more than they should have to Vandy. I want to give my thoughts on Vandy because I got to go and shoot this game because I was there last night. It was good for them to get their mojo back a little bit, get some confidence, have fun, smile. Antonio Reeves was smiling, Rob was smiling, Jordan Burks, goes out there and gets some lobs at the end of the game. He's smiling. Big Z, he finally wakes up, he hits a three and and is doing that. So yeah, so 6 guys in double figures, Reeves, Rob, Burks, Z, and then
Justin
huh?
Justin Edwards.
Right. Justin Resurrect. I mean, he got those 7 points in the first half in the Tennessee game, nothing in the second half. So it's like, he shied away again. This time he finally put together like 2 good halves. So it was good to see. And then did Bradshaw get no Bradshaw.
Yeah, he got 12, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Yeah. He got a
Yeah.
couple lobs. So yeah, it was good for them to bounce back. You got a good opportunity here at Gonzaga. I'll be at the game. Non-conference, get your win, get back to protecting home court. Ole Miss, you can get that, and then the big ones at Auburn next weekend. If you can win all 4 of these, then you're back. Like so, still a lot to learn with this team. They got to get better defensively. Gave up a little bit more to Vandy than they should have, but at least Rob's looking like one of the best players maybe Cal has like ever had offensively here at Kentucky. Like that guy is special. If he keeps doing that, it's gonna be big. And then just got to get DJ back, man. But I wish I could stay longer, but I do got to run. AW and the boys are waiting for me, so I got to go shoot the game. So we'll throw in the ad break right now, I guess.
As you guys know by now, we've partnered with BetMGM this season. We'll be using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks, and we'll have special offers for the listeners and the viewers of the Field of 68 as we all get ready for the best month of the year, March Madness. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, you can use the bonus code FIELD150 and you will get $150 in free bets on your first wager with BetMGM, regardless of whether or not you win that first bet. Here's the best part. All you need to do is deposit and bet $5 of your hard-earned money. This is how you make it work. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using the bonus code FIELD150. That's FIELD150. Deposit at least $5 and place your first wager on any game. you will receive up to $150 in bonus bets, regardless of the outcome of your bet. Just make sure you use that bonus code FIELD150 when you sign up. And remember, BetMGM is now available in one wallet in select states. As a New Jersey resident, this is super convenient when I have to go cover games in Philly or New York, which happens quite a bit. When you cross state borders, you just log into your existing account and fire away. You don't have to create a new account in each state. It's easy, it's simple, and it's clean. And most importantly, we have some fun stuff coming up for the conference tournaments and for the NCAA tournament. Bet insurance tokens, college hoops odds boost, and my personal favorite, a nice little parlay boost here and there. So download the BetMGM app and sign up today. Big news, guys. I am thrilled to announce that we have partnered with Autograph, a company founded by the GOAT himself, Tom Brady. The Autograph Fandom app gives you access to the best college hoops content, fan contests, and exclusive rewards like discounted tickets, all for doing the things that diehard fans like you already do, following your favorite team in the news and listening to podcasts just like this one. When Tom, and yes, I am calling him Tom, we're on a first name basis these days, co-founded Autograph, he had one mission in mind: change the fan experience for the better. It works like this: you get all of your college hoops content you want in one place. You get articles from your favorite writers, pods from your favorite hosts, contests from your favorite creators, all on the feeds and the sites that you already enjoy. But instead of having to go to all these different places, it all comes to you in one spot, the Autograph Fandom app. But here's the best part: the more content that you consume, the higher you rank in the app. As you consider the level up in status on the app, you can unlock unique rewards curated exclusively for you. So download the free Autograph app in the App Store and use the referral code F68, that's F68, or tap in at the link in the description below or in the podcast app of your choosing to start earning points for doing something as normal as listening to this very podcast.
All right. Thank you all for everyone that stayed on the other side of that ad break. Sorry we had to cut that one short. Thankfully, we got to get a hold of Michael. He's bouncing game to game. You know, he works for Fox 56, the TV station. So he's nonstop as well. He's actually at EKU's game right now. That's why his background was a little bit different than normal. And we only got him for about, maybe 5-10 minutes there. So it felt a little rushed, but hey, we was going to take him as long as we could get him. Now we can kind of really take our time and break back into that Tennessee game, the Vanderbilt game. Tim, we'll get your thoughts on all that, but kind of servicing back to the Tennessee game. You know, we were talking about how it's just an absolute beatdown. And man, it was, it felt like it was Kentucky really needed to win that one. It's not like it was a guaranteed win by any means. That was a good team that came in here. It's not like it was a non-conference nobody. It was an in-conference top 6 team in the country. It's been great all year long. Not guaranteed to win at all, but like for team morale, for what you want the season to be, Kentucky really needed to win that one. And with it being at home, it gives you an advantage. Sold out. Fans, like you said, they were lined up. I talked to some, well, actually, I didn't talk to them. I'd heard about it. There were some of those fans that were sitting around with the TVs, the students. They were there since 4 a.m. the night before. I don't know how they were able to do that, but 4 a.m. the game started at, what time was that? Like 6 at night, something like that.
Yeah.
So it's a long stretch there, and Kentucky just didn't deliver. They just threw a big clunker at home, and he just got smacked in the mouth. And I don't know, man. I was just really disappointed, but I think we do need to harp on a little bit about Rob Dillingham. His career high 35 points, just lethal, lethal. I was sitting there with, I know me and you talked a little bit before, but Rob Doster, founder of Field of 68, he actually stopped in town for the game, and we were sitting there, and his first time seeing Kentucky in person, and he just was, you should have seen his reaction when Rob was getting hot. I mean, he was just sitting there falling out of his chair laughing. Like, he's like, this guy's ridiculous. I'm like, I know. Welcome to the Rob Dillingham show. So I got to chop it up a little bit with Rob Doster from the Field of 68. Good guy. He's the one who's given us this opportunity to broadcast on the Field of 68 network. But Tim, we're bringing it back to you, producer of this show. What are kind of more of some thoughts on that Tennessee game before we kind of break it down to the Vanderbilt one?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I wish I was there. It would have been nice to meet Rob in person. I know we had him on an episode, but to be able to meet him face to face, I mean, it would have been pretty nice, but I mean, speaking of, I mean, Rob, whenever you think of the greatest offensive players under Calipari, it's who? Like Malik Monk is up there for sure. Who
Oh
else would
yeah.
you say?
You said top scorer. Sorry, I didn't hear you
Just
there.
like top offensive players under Cal. Like we got Monk,
Darren Fox, Tyrese
Hawk,
Maxey pretty well. I think
yeah.
was it sophomore year, Emmanuel quickly. He got hot that second year. I think did he get SEC Player of the Year? I think.
I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know. That's too long ago. But I mean, Rob is up there, if not number one. I mean, Monk was incredible, but the amount of space that Rob is able to create just by himself, he's pulled off so many shots that I'm just like at the beginning of the year, it's like, what the hell is kind of that? But now it's just it's going in. It's insane to see. And I've always kind of said that he reminds me a lot of Kimba. I mean, he's totally his own player, but just the way he's able to create his own shots, the step backs, his crossovers, it just reminds me so much of Kimba. But like I said, he was really the only reason that game was entertaining. It was a lot of guard play that game. Reed had 37 minutes, the most of anybody on that team, and I know the Florida game before. I mean, he played every single minute that game.
yeah,
But while he is, he is a good. It's hard to say. It's 50-50 on if he's either a really good off-ball defender or really, really bad and continues to get exposed. He plays the passing lane so much to where if he's able to read a pass and get the steal, at least a fast break point, it's awesome. He'll end up
yeah,
with 4 to 5 steals a game. But then if they figure out, his play style, I forget the Florida player who spoke with media after that game, but he kind of harped on Reed and his inexperience and how young he was and how he's able to use that to expose him throughout the game and score. So we really suffered there on just that guard defense, especially Reed's.
yeah. I mean, back to your point that you just had a second ago, the Rob Dillingham. If you're just even throwing his name in there with Malik Monk, that just tells the story there. Malik
Yeah,
Monk was special here. Rob Dillingham, dude, we're not going to get a second year of him in Lexington. He is very special, and it's so much fun. He is the only one that kept it in there into that game somewhat close. It would have been a blowout if not, and ended up someone coming close to that anyways. But like you were just saying with Reed, I think with Reed, his thing is he was super elite on offense and defense throughout the non-conference, those smaller opponents. But what he does is he gambles a little bit. He tries to get that ball line still. He tries to anticipate that the pass is coming, still it. He'll come behind somebody and back tip them. He's kind of being aggressive. But when you get into the SEC play where these guys are a lot better than these smaller teams that we faced earlier on, some of them are a lot older as well, more experienced. They're more advanced than who he was doing all that special stuff against. He's gambling on these plays. He's falling for all these pump fakes. He's falling for it all and trying to be aggressive. And not to just harp on him, it's a bunch of guys on this team, but like Reed's more obvious because he was so perfect. I mean, he was perfect from the first 10 to 12 games of the year on defense. And now it's coming off a little bit. He's giving up some points to being aggressive. But if anything, to play devil's advocate on the other side of it, he's still getting steals, blocks. I mean, it seems like every time he does have a turnover, where it's just a handful of a game, the next 3 possessions, it's very likely he's going to get that ball back and make them have a turnover. So I know we beat up on him just a little bit there, but to give him some credit, I mean, he's not just giving turnovers and leaving them. He's getting them back, thankfully. But yeah, I mean, I think, especially you got to also consider with DJ Wagner out, Reed Shepard's got a lot more pressure on him. It doesn't come out at all. I mean, not pretty much at all. I think in that Florida game, if that was the overtime one, I think he played 45 minutes, played
mm,
the entire game. So
yeah,
you also consider, being winded. I know these guys are in top tier shape, but like that's a lot of basketball, and I know they can handle it. But like, if your goal is just to protect the ball the entire game and run the offense, you can't be as aggressive on your other things off the ball because your priorities change a little bit. So maybe that has something to do with it. Just trying to give them some chance there. Um, but yeah, I mean, this Reed Shepard's hopefully he tightens it up a little bit. Cal was kind of harping on him after the Vanderbilt game.
yeah, he was. But speaking of that Vanderbilt game, that was such a refreshing little beatdown. I know it's Vanderbilt, but it felt so nice. You know, fans were smiling watching the TV. You know, we were talking about the players smiling watching the game as well. But I'm hoping this is kind of a breakout for Justin Edwards. You know, he had a double figure game early on in the season and then just went cold there for a good solid stretch. But then how many points did he have last night?
He had 17.
17 points on
Yeah.
a pretty really efficient shooting. It was I'm on the Tennessee game, I can't tell you, but really efficient shooting. His driving was a lot better. He was making open layups that he should be making. So I'm
About
kind
that
of
windmill
hoping this.
dunk.
What's up?
About that windmill dunk.
That was pretty awesome too. Uh, but yeah, I mean, it was a heck of a game for him. Heck of a game for Jordan Burks. I mean, I couldn't be more happy for him. You know, early on in the season, media were able to interview these players, and he's always smiling, saying, you know, I'm just happy to be here. And I can't remember who asked the question or what the question was about, but it was kind of talking about his role. He is definitely the most hustle driven player on this team. And somebody had asked him, like, you know, you're kind of like a Dennis Rodman for this team. He's like, oh yeah, Dennis Rodman. If I could be Dennis Rodman and just do that, that's awesome. So I couldn't be happy for anyone else other than
Jordan Burks.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it. I know that we could kind of harped on that Tennessee game earlier, but I mean, there was not a whole lot to say about that. It was just a bad game. You know, a good team beat you, but going into this Vanderbilt game, where the team, you know, fresh off that game, it was more, in my opinion, of the way I've been describing it as a confidence building, team morale boosting type of feel good win is how I kind of put it. You know, putting all those words together, is it went, honestly, it went about the best case scenario that it could have. You know, obviously, if you go to the worst case is going down there and losing to a bad Vanderbilt team, but like if you picture what would be the best case going into this, it's like obviously exit with the win. The cherry on top would be play great basketball. You know, even adding on to that with the sprinkles of what the cherry on top is getting all your guys going. You know, you go into it without DJ Wagner again, without Trey Mitchell for one of the first times this season. Two of your starters who play a lot of minutes and collect a lot of your points. Um, you know, 0-3 without DJ Wagner. A lot of things could have went the opposite way that game, but thankfully Antonio Reeves, Rob Dillingham. There's no hangover game for Dillingham, hot as can be. Antonio Reeves as well. I think he started off like 6 for 7 at the three, something along that line. Those guys are nuclear from the jump and just kind of immediately set the tone for the game. And Kentucky, once they got that lead, they really never let it go. They actually didn't let it go once. They led the entire game. Truly different from the game before against Tennessee, where they didn't lead once. So two different games. You expect the team to maybe fall back a little bit without DJ Wagner and Trey Mitchell, but they did not. Honestly, they put up 109 points, Tim. 109 points. By my math, I think that was the second highest they've had all year, maybe third. But like without two of your starters, two of your point scorers, like 109 points, and they found a way to get Justin Edwards, Jordan Burks, Adu, Bradshaw again, Z. It was really good to see. It was a real feel good win to get that going. Um, but before we keep going into that, we do have to take one more break. I think there might be a chance we get Michael back. I don't know. We're trying to play it out right now. We again apologize for all these breaks, but you know we're making it work. We're making it work for y'all. We're gonna try to have the full cast on here. So if you can hang on just one more second, we'll be right back. Well, welcome back, everybody, for the third time. We've had a little bit crazy events tonight, different than the normally planned schedule. Thank you for all for sticking along. We kind of had Michael for the first part. He had to go shoot a game, and so then me and Tim kind of were chopping it up for a little bit. But now we got Michael back. He's still at the game, just fresh off the court. Y'all weren't able to see that there for a second ago, but he was just fresh off the court like moments ago. We've got him back. Michael just said he wasn't done talking about Kentucky basketball and had some more thoughts on his chest. Michael, let's do it, man.
Yeah, man, I gotta run back up to Lexington and get to the station to get these highlights on the air. But I still got a few minutes. What were some of your guys' big points on the Vandy game? Because you know, I had some other thoughts, but what are some things you guys already hit on?
Yeah, well, I mean, me and Tim kind of had a moment there talking about Rob Dillingham, did not have a hangover game. He kept it going down there. And then Justin Edwards and getting the other guys going, kind of a confidence building, get the rest of the roster going. How it could have went worse with everything that was going on before without DJ Wagner, Trey Mitchell, et cetera. But yeah, we were kind of right fresh off the point just a minute ago talking about getting all the other guys involved and how good kind of it felt good to see that happen.
Yeah, good bounce back for Antonio too. I know he didn't have a bad game against Tennessee, but you could kind of tell he was just missing more shots than he normally does. So that was a good bounce back for him. But man, yeah, Edwards, if he can do this consistently, I mean, Cal said it, he's a difference maker. He's a game changer. This is what he was supposed to be. He was supposed to be that, slashing wing, like we talked about. It could just, get in the lane, make stuff happen. And, his dribbling just hasn't really been there yet. He's still just trying to piece together his game, which is fine. At that age, everyone's allowed to be a work in progress. So he's taken this, a lot of time to figure it out. Cal's talked about, helping him with this mindset, not trying to do too much. And it worked. I mean, if he could do that, just not even just, like shooting, he's not going to be the best shooter, but if he makes a couple, that's great. But even like that, playing the second half, not just the dunk, but jumping the passing lane, like just being more engaged, get a couple steals, which can turn into some, fast break points. If he can be that kind of guy, that would be huge for his team.
Yeah. I was definitely one of the people that kind of was falling off the Justin Edwards bandwagon for a while. Like I was, I'll have to, I mean, the people can go back and see the clips. I think you all stayed pretty strong on him. And I was kind of going the other way, if I'm being honest with myself. But Cal stayed on him the whole time. And Tim, I mean, we talked about it for a little bit there, but like, kind of, do you think are we going to get this Justin Edwards going forward again? Do you think it was a one-off? I mean, I hope so. I hope that we can see this over and over from he's got the talent. I just don't know if he's going to keep putting it together this year on this team. Tim, what do you kind of expect going forward? Do you think we'll see this continuing out of him from here on out?
Well, you said I kind of stuck with him. I gotta say I didn't really stick with him there at one point.
Did
Uh,
you? Okay.
yeah, I was kind of talking about how it might be best for just him to kind of pull Chris Livingston, go to the draft, hopefully have a good workout and get drafted. But it's awesome to see that he had a game like that, and I hope it's a confidence booster for him. I'm hoping he can start getting it rolling. But then again, it's just one game, and that one game's against Vanderbilt, one of the worst teams out there. So it's hard to say, but never know. He could have another game like this against Gonzaga. And also kind of want to mention just kind of we were talking about Burks some. A lot of people forget that he's from the Overtime Elite League where he was the leading scorer, and that's the league Rob came out of, and the Sir and Amin Thompson, pretty good, solid rookies. They came out of that league, and I think he averaged probably like 30 something points a game. I want to say around that. So Jordan Burks may not be done. He may just be getting it started.
Might
Yeah,
be.
it's tough. It's tough because, like we talked about, it's something that Auburn beat Bama. Wow, 99-81. Oof,
Oh,
it just happened. Janai Brew, man, third year there, Morehead State guy. Yeah, I like we talked about, man. There's only one ball. There's only one ball, and there's all this talent, but there's only one ball, and I wonder if Justin is, we're seeing a resurgence in 3 of his last 4 halves because DJ Wagner hasn't been out there, and Trey Mitchell hasn't been out there. But it's like you can't have too many guys. Like Cal said, he's gonna have 11 guys when DJ comes back. He'd rather have that than 4, obviously. But at the end of the day, there's only one ball, and not everyone can eat. So Edwards, like, it's almost like when DJ comes back and Trey, then hopefully Justin doesn't fall off again. But there's only one ball, so they're just going to kind of have to take their turns. And, him scoring 17 points was a great sight for the first time. And that was his career high, but first time getting double digits in a while. So I don't know if that'll continue once DJ's back. We'll see.
Yeah, Michael, that's a good point. There, if a guy steps up and scores when we're not used to him, somebody else didn't. So we saw with Ugo, I think he had 15 minutes off, fresh off. What he had two of his best games right before that one. He played. It felt like honestly less than 15 minutes that game. Um, with DJ Wagner, all the points that he would provide to this team, those got to go to someone else when he's out. Maybe that's where it kind of defaulted when we got up a bunch to the Jordan Burks of the world. Justin Edwards getting some more comfortable reps because we had such a big lead. Trey Mitchell's point production. I know he's been kind of off the last 2 or 3 games, but he's throughout the year. Him and Antonio Reeves and Dillingham have been like our top 3 scorers if looking back at the stats. So I do think if anyone is gonna not fall off, but kind of go back to the way they were when those guys get back, I think it is going to be first Jordan Burks. He was last man on the team, Big Z. Um, I think Cal's going to still ride Justin Edwards, especially after this. Cal's like, pretty much I told you so, which is fine. I think his ceiling might be a lot higher than the Jordan Burks, etc. But, we expect to get Trey Mitchell back any game. We don't really know if it's going to be in the next game or a couple of games for DJ Wagner, but those guys are going to be back at some point. Jordan Burks is going to be the one that kind of loses out on that, I think. But I would love to still give him his credit. I think he went 6 for 6. I know he didn't miss a shot in this game, had a 3-pointer. He was so excited. The Kentucky basketball account put out a video after the game. They, broke out and said, team, their huddle or whatever it's called. And he's like, can someone put on the Dougie song? And they turned it on. They got all hyped and stuff. So it was cool. Jordan Burks, I mean, everybody did good that night, but Jordan Burks he was the focal point of that. It's good to see him finally get that chance. I would hate for him to go here this whole year and not get at least some positive like that.
Yeah, because Cal's been talking about it in his pressers too, getting him an opportunity. And obviously, Trey's playing, he's probably not having that kind of game. But it's good that he's there, and it's good to see that he can do it. I wasn't really impressed with Bradshaw just because, like, man, I loved that Rob and Aaron pick and roll. I mean, good Lord. And then like Rob has a crossover, drives left, lobs it to Aaron, who throws down the oop. I mean, that's beautiful. That's beautiful basketball. And we should see more of it. Because when Aaron gets to the NBA, that's what he's doing. He's running pick and rolls all day. Like that is what he's doing on offense, is getting up there and setting a screen. So just have him do it here. Do it with Rob, because he's your best offensive player, or Reed, because he can, even DJ. I know they do it the most with DJ. I don't know the stats. It'd be interesting to see the advanced stats, but I'm sure DJ's in the most pick and rolls of anybody. But to see like Rob and Aaron, that pick and roll's dirty. And I know it's just Vandy, but like Aaron was aggressive. He got in the paint, got a couple tip-ins. That was good. He's got to just get more active because he's got so much talent and he's huge. So good to see him wake up. But man, that pick and roll, Rob and Aaron, that's what I need to see more.
Yeah, Tim, I want to segue this to you in just a second, but I wanted to first point out, I guess 2 points. First, what I was going to say is I think we need to get Aaron Bradshaw on the Damian Collins diet. I think they said he was how many calories a day he was eating, 5,000 or some insane number like that. I don't think that lived to be true, but we need to get Bradshaw onto that, I think, for him to reach his full potential. He's kind of hit and miss. He had, a solid game against Vandy, but he's been hit and miss this season. I thought he'd be the top 5 scorer on our team, and he's not been that. But segue, Tim, I want to get your thoughts real quick. Did you get to see the replay? I know you saw it live, but did you get to see a replay of Big Z and Aaron Bradshaw chest bumping in that game? What about that? That was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I did see that. They seem to be like good friends. I'll kind of tune into some of the lives Aaron Bradshaw has on Instagram every now and then. It seems like they're always there with each other. I mean, they seem to be best buds. But kind of going back on what Michael said there about the lobs. I mean, that's probably one of my favorite plays out there. I love lob plays, and Cal used to run quite a few lob plays. And I want to say during the Tennessee game, we had a few scuffed lobs, and I saw somebody tweet, "This is probably the worst lob team in Calipari history." But it was nice to see them throw a few lobs. Even Z threw it down. Z threw up a lob to Aaron Bradshaw. That's right. Whenever they chest bumped, yeah.
Tim, where's Michael taking us right now?
I don't know. I don't know where we're going out at.
I gotta get back to the station. I gotta put these highlights in. I do want to talk about the. We got to talk about that media basketball game, Trace.
Yeah, yeah, Michael. Let me give you some flowers real quick, and then we'll get on that. Let's see. So Sunday there was a local media annual basketball game, and for some odd reason they threw me as a starting point guard. I guess maybe it's some youth there. I don't know. But I was winded from the jump. Our team heavily relied on Michael to score. Michael, I definitely say you carried us. You and Jordan. You had a couple of threes. I think you had at least double digit points. I provided absolutely no value except for a block here, a couple of steals, but like I didn't have any points. I don't think. Michael, let's talk about it. How are you so hot against that? In the game.
Man, I struggled shooting the basketball in our first media game against Bourbon County, and so I got some offensive boards. I got 8 points, just basically on offensive boards and putbacks. But I was telling Jordan and Colby, our two other sports people at Fox, I was like, I'm gonna get a three for you guys. I got one in me, and luckily I had two. I tried a third. I tried a little heat check right in front of our bench,
Yeah.
and it did not go in, unfortunately. But I think there's you know something to seeing the first one go down, right? You get a little bit more confidence, and you feel like it can go down. So got 12 points. Jordan had 11, and then I think Vasi, our reporter, had 6. Cameron from LAX had 6 or 8, I think. So we tried. We fought, but Dunbar got the win. So just like Rob said after dropping 35 to Tennessee, it was a good game, but we lost, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, like I put on Twitter, we're 0-2 now in the media basketball games over the last 2 years. We're just trying to reflect the team that we cover a bunch. Well, fresh off back-to-back losses too. But yeah, I provided no value. My legs were dead. I mean, I'm so out of shape when it comes to this stuff. And Michael, I don't know if you noticed, but I definitely noticed when you was going through your heat check, when you shoot your three, you stick your right leg out just a little bit, kind of like Dillingham does. Like I noticed that. Did you know that at all?
I didn't know that. I know that my form is pretty god awful. It's almost like Lonzo Ball, where I'm just like bringing my arm like way over here. So I know that's not good. But hey, if it goes in, then I'll take it. So, but no, I'll have to look back at the film and see what you're talking about, because I got to be careful. I can't flail it out too far and pick up a flagrant for tripping somebody.
Yeah, yeah, no complaints from me. If they're going in, it's working. So I wouldn't tell you to change anything because I'm the one who couldn't get a bucket. But my legs are out from under me. But that is for anyone who doesn't know, we the local media will play a basketball game each year against a high school staff, the teacher staff. So this year we did at Dunbar against their staff. I do got to kind of flex just a little bit if I can have any good thing that came from this game. I had a block. I blocked this some woman teacher. She came over and I just saw her. I played help defense. I jumped over and blocked it. It went over their bench into the stands. Like it was like the Aaron Bradshaw block. I just sent it. And I heard, that's a woman. I was like, it's a game. Like, it was so funny. Somebody got on me. It's like, that's a woman. I was like, okay. But that's about the only thing good that I did in that
I
basketball.
remember that block too. I was like, oh shoot. I was like, damn. All
I said it.
right, great. With authority.
Yeah. But
Hey, next game, I want to be involved. Some people may not know this, but I've got some college ball experience. Not flexing, scored a good 5 points in the 2 seasons. I played in intramural basketball at EKU.
oh,
Yeah,
There we
yeah,
go.
yeah. So I'm not the best. I'm not gonna lie, but but I love basketball. So if I can get involved, I will.
yeah. Next year, us three, we got to pick up Jordan that you're with, Michael, because he was a baller, and we got to find that fifth option. We might have us. Hopefully, I can provide a little bit more help than I was able to this year and help you out a little bit. But we might have a solid 5 next year, and actually, we take out a high school teacher staff.
Yeah, we gotta have a girl on the floor at all times. So we had we had Vasi, we had Colby, and we had Krista.
and then we had Sierra. So we got some options there for our girl spot, and yeah, we just got to go out there and get buckets, man. That's what we got to do. So we got to train all off season, get ready for next year, and try to get a 3-point shot down consistent, and we got to drop some plays. You know, maybe some pick and roll, pick and pop if we can knock them down. So it's an important off season for us.
Yeah, we might need to learn how to. At least I can speak for myself. We might have to learn how to play some defense a little bit because when the game started, I said let's not give up 103 points like Kentucky did to Tennessee, and I think we gave up like 75 points to a pretty, no offense to them, but like they just look like average Joes that teach at a school. Not one of them looked like they play the sport itself, and they kind of gave us a little beating. So we got to work on some. I got to work on some defense as well.
Yeah, we got lucky because I guess they have a teacher who like played a guy who played at Kentucky. He's like 6'6", but he didn't play in the game. We got lucky. So, but we still didn't get the win. We made it close there. Started the third quarter. We had a good run, but it's tough, man. It's tough to not pull off the dub, but we fought. We have to fight. That's Oscar. We fight. We must fight. And,
Praise God.
That's what we did. We fought.
Michael, so are you taking us back to the station? You're still good to go? Are you hopping off right now, or what's the status with you?
Yeah, I got to get back and cut these highlights. So I'll let you guys go, and hopefully next week, yeah, we'll probably talk after the Ole Miss game, right? And so I'm going to Gonzaga. Jordan and Colby are going to Ole Miss. It's a late tip, 9 o'clock tip. So they'll go to that one, and then I'm going down to Auburn. Right. So that's gonna be fun. So we can talk, next week, preview the Auburn game, and hopefully talk about 2 more Cats wins.
Okay. Well, Michael, I will see you at the Gonzaga game this weekend, and have a safe trip back to the station.
All right, brother. All right, Tim. Bye, dog.
Amen.
All right, guys. So I think we're on part 4 of this thing now. We've had kind of a wild night, Tim. You've been here with me through it all. We got Michael to start off. He's at the game, and he had to go on the floor, so we had to let him go for a second, hop back on from the game at EKU. Then he took us for a drive back to the station in Lexington. So kind of all over the place, but you know what? It gives this podcast flavor and makes we're not hiding anything from you all. We're putting the full production right there out in front of you. So it is what it is. But now we've lost Michael one more time. He's going to be off the rest of the night. We'll catch him back next time. But me and Tim are here for a final few minutes to kind of round this one out. So kind of looking forward. We got Gonzaga this weekend. I remember I was actually at the game when they announced theirs. I think it had to be like early last year. They even put a big FaceTime broadcast up on the TV screen up in Rupp. It was Cal and Mark. I always mess his name. Gonzaga's coach. He was talking about like it was planned. They was like, let's schedule this game, blah blah. And they were like, oh, it's announced. We got that. They announced it right then and there. And so I remember just thinking like that game's going to be wild game. Looking forward to it for over a year now. And a few weeks ago, Gonzaga fell out of the top 25. I think they said for like 8 years or some crazy like that. So Gonzaga's still decent. They're just not the Gonzaga that we've been used to for a while. Still expect people to get up. I still expect it to be a crazy atmosphere. Still expect Gonzaga to give us a fight. It's not a guaranteed we'd win by any chance, but this is not the Gonzaga that we were kind of looking forward to, when it was first announced. So still going to be a big-time game this Saturday. After that, we've got Ole Miss coming to Rupp, and then after that, at Auburn on Saturday. So kind of, Gonzaga, Auburn kind of lead the way in the next 3. Ole Miss is a little sleeper. I think it's the easiest of the 3, but I think you definitely need to win these first 2. Gonzaga at home, Ole Miss at home. Take care of your home court. And I think the biggest kicker here is you avoid the 3-game losing streak at home. It's never, ever been done in Kentucky basketball history. Cal, come on, man. I never thought you'd be the one that's had that against you, especially with this team. But it's very likely on Saturday, man. Are you nervous a little bit? What's your kind of early thoughts about Gonzaga coming into Lexington Saturday?
Well, I don't know much about their players at all this year. I mean, I typically just stick to in conference, but I know. I mean, Mark Few is a hell of a coach. He has so much experience. So I mean, any well coached team could beat this team easily. So and I know what was it the net ranking, like we were 26th and they're 25th. So I mean, according to that, it's going to be neck and neck. But I don't know. I haven't really looked at the roster to see if they're very experienced or anything, or really any of their wins or their schedule at all. So I'm not quite sure who they face, but it's a possibility, man. It's scary to say, but it's a possibility that we could lose three in a row at Rupp.
Yeah. No, it is very possible. I'm kind of like you too. I don't do a whole lot of out of the conference previewing until it's time to do it. So I haven't got deep into Gonzaga just yet. We've got 4 or 5 days to that game start. Probably now, yeah, about 3 or 4 days. So probably break into it tomorrow a little bit more. I've not done a whole lot of studying into them, but I do know I was listening to one of the Phil 68's basketball podcasts one night, and their point guard, I'm forgetting his name. Their point guard's like really elite. Like his turnover ratio to compared to his points and assists that he's getting this year are like record breaking. Like seriously, like their point guards secure. I think I don't know if that's their best player, but their point guard is going to be elite. We just got to hope our guys. I hope we get DJ Wagner back for it, man.
That would
If
help.
he's yeah, if he's not more than 75%, I would say no, because you don't want to, he's going to be pressed all game long. But like, I'm a lot more concerned if he's not back against this team because they're going to be guard heavy. Uh, it's very likely that Gonzaga can get this game. They're still a solid team, still a top 40-ish team. Can't count them out just yet. And before the game, we're gonna have all the Marks Few, Cal, they're good buddies. That's gonna be a storyline of it as well. But man, another game that we said it before the Tennessee game. I was like, we really need Kentucky to take care of business for this one. Like, you need Kentucky to take care of business this one. Kentucky is the better team at its ceiling when they're playing at their best. Kentucky is the better team, but are we going to get two halves of it? Are we going to get two sides of the ball of it? Or are we going to give up 75 points to Gonzaga and hope that we score 80? Um, you know, Cal said after the Vanderbilt game, their focus going forward is 70% defense. And I was thinking earlier, I'm like, it took you this long to decide that? I mean, we are 22 games into this thing. I know they've been working on defense for a little while, but like he finally said it. He was just like going for. I mean, we already know their offense is great. Like we could probably skip a couple of practices of our offense. I think it's pretty good. I would be pushing 90%. Like let's do defense, defense, defense. Otherwise, we're going to drop some more games. Like I can take our chances of letting our offense stay where it's at and working on our defense. With 22 games into this, we're finally putting the focus on defense. Good job, Cal. Um, but yeah, if they don't play good defense when Gonzaga comes in, man, we'll get beat again. And third, I know we just mentioned third time or three back-to-back losses in Rupp. Never been done. It's kind of scary, man. Rupp's always been the Mecca college basketball. Take care of home court. I would hate for that stat to come across my screen after the game.
Twitter would be so ugly after that. Oh man, it was so ugly after Tennessee. I don't want to know what it would be like if we lose to Gonzaga.
Yeah, dude, it would. I mean, we've seen over the last few years, and I really don't want to hit on this a whole bunch unless you got something on it, but like just real quickly, we've seen over the last few years, there's a lot of this basketball fan base that's starting to divide on Cal, and I'm not trying to start that. I'm on the side for Cal when he's doing the things that we want him to do, and at his peak, at his greatness that we've had him at before that he's not found in a while. But like, there's a part of this fan base that's done with Cal. And I could definitely see those guys being very vocal Saturday night if Kentucky was to lose that one. And like they were really vocal last Saturday night after the Tennessee loss. But like I'm coming from the point of, yeah, Kentucky should have won that, but there's a lot of things that go into it. We didn't have DJ Wagner. Tennessee was extremely hot, and it's a top 6 Tennessee team in the country. Top team in the country. Like they are a good team. Like it wasn't like you were guaranteed to win that game anyways. It was going to be a fight anyways. I think that when Tennessee just came out extremely high and Kentucky threw out a clunker, gave up 100 plus points at home, I think that just put a bitter taste in fans' mouth, and all the vocal negative ones have really came out that night. And they'll come out again after Gonzaga, man. Unfortunately, they will. But if Kentucky can get the win, maybe they'll kind of take a step back for a couple more games.
Yeah, This is kind of just random, me being superstitious. But ever since Sam Bowie came out there and was like, if Cal doesn't win this year or if he doesn't win this year with this team, it's definitely on him. Ever
Yeah.
since then, they haven't been doing too hot.
What game was that?
Uh,
Georgia?
that was Georgia, yeah,
Z game, yeah. And after that game is when the switched, dude. Like it was like a light switch. We went to South Carolina after that. Um, at Arkansas, these games get mixed up,
yeah,
but we
yeah, yeah,
lost. We went on a stretch of the next 7 games. We lost 4 out of the 7 right after that Georgia game. Remember
yeah.
how great things were going all the way up to the
Oh
Georgia?
man, we were
We
so
were,
happy. Everybody was cheering for Big Z, and just how it was like we got Big Z now. Who's gonna stop us? And
I, I
then,
remember a Louisville media member that night tweeted out something along the lines. He said, "Oh, what something?" I'm trying to remember how it goes. It's like, "Oh, Kentucky's already got 9 draft picks. So they're just going to add the next Dirk Nowitzki to their team just in the middle of the season, very casually. Like, what else?" That's how we all felt that night.
yeah,
I was like, "This team gets another guy like this. Like, it's ours. It's ours to win."
yeah,
The next game, stuff switched. The light went off and our problems arose and we could no longer hide our defense and start getting exposed there. But hopefully, 70% in practice working on that defense, hopefully it gets a little bit better. But
so
I'm all in. Saturday, my mom's coming to the game. Not
ooh,
that I mean, my mom's coming to the game. My brother, they've not been to a game in years. I don't know if my mom's ever been to a game. So it's gonna be kind of special for me. They know that we get to go to these games and cover and all that stuff, but they don't ever get to see what we do. And just for me, to see my mom and rep, like it's gonna be cool. And I hope they get a win for her. Gonna try to get to the game early, take them down by the court, let them see what we get to see. We're very lucky to get to see all that and have that access that hopefully I can get them to just a little bit. But
yeah, that's all.
um, yeah, after Gonzaga, Ole Miss, and then Auburn on the road, that Auburn game is going to be exciting. Auburn, I think what Michael just mentioned, they had just beat Alabama. I don't know where that game was, if it was home or away. Do you know?
I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know. I just saw
yeah.
it on TV, but I can't remember.
But you know how that at Auburn game is every year. Charles Barkley is going to be courtside talking his talk. Um, if Kentucky beats Gonzaga and Ole Miss, we might get a game day down there because
Yeah,
at Auburn's going to be wild. And
yeah,
Auburn's actually better than us this year so far. Um, that's going to be a wild Saturday if everything lines up that way. And I fully expect, Kentucky going on the road. Um, Crazy environment. They could lose that one too.
I
I don't know,
agree.
man. But that I think after this crazy night of back and forth, I'm all out of topics, man. You before we close this one out, what else you got for us tonight?
Not much of anything really at all. I kind of just had a thought come to my mind earlier, but a term I haven't heard from Calipari in a while is random basketball. I feel like that was really mentioned a lot towards the beginning of the season whenever this offense was like on fire, and it felt like it was such a refreshment. I feel like I don't know. I don't know if it's been like more organized or try to run more plays here recently, but I feel like maybe something kind of switched in Cal to try to push them to change it up a little bit. But I felt like Vanderbilt, we kind of went back to that old system of random basketball. Because I mean, Reeves went out there, was shooting up threes. Rob was, doing his own thing, and a lot more lobs was going on. I felt like they were kind of going more off instinct, if that makes sense, rather than
Yeah.
going just by a playbook. Um, but I don't know. That's kind of a random thought that popped in my head. Is we haven't heard the term random basketball from Cal in a while.
Yeah, I think now we all know Cal, like he gets the one-liners and wears them out all year long. So he I think maybe it's just more of Kentucky's more kind of fine-tuning it, trying to find their rotation. It's not really early in the year anymore where you can have all these, let's see what this lineup does. Let's see what this rotation does. I think they are still playing a little bit of random basketball, but I think he's off that narrative now where they're kind of just more fine-tuning. Here's our guys we're going with. Outside of before the Vanderbilt game, the rotation got cut down a bit. Now
Yeah,
without DJ Gardner and Trey Mitchell, they had to extend it a little bit, get some more help from the other guys. But he did say after that Vanderbilt game, he was like, when we get a couple of these guys back, I think he was doing I think he was doing more of like kind of bringing up Justin Edwards, Jordan Burks, and those guys. But he's saying when we get those two guys back of Trey Mitchell and DJ Wagner, we're going to have a lineup of 11 guys. He said
Yeah.
we can't have 11 guys. So I expect it to get cut back a little bit. I know we talked earlier about it probably being Jordan Burks, but I think, man, I really think it's just more of just fine tuning this team and needing to have what works rather than just throwing anything out there. So maybe that's what he's going at.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it makes sense, I guess. Closer you get to March, try to establish more of a fine-tuned playbook. But no, man, that's all I really had. I mean, Gonzaga, Ole Miss, and Auburn. It's gonna be a tough little schedule. Hopefully, they can pull this off.
yeah. Well, everybody who stuck along for this, thank you for watching. We do get a lot of new eyes each week. Very grateful. Thank you all for supporting us. Thank you all for the ones who come back and watch us each time. But make sure you're following us on social media as well. Like that's what helps us. That puts all of our other work out to you all. You won't miss us each time. So you can follow Tim on Twitter. Tim, do you know you're at off the top of your head?
It's just Tim Smith, CC.
Yeah, guys, go follow him. Tim puts this whole show on, so thankfully we wouldn't have it without him. Terrell Trace is my at on Twitter. Follow Cats coverage. We're putting out more than this. We're more than just a podcast. We've got articles. We're a media outlet. We cover football and we do the whole shabam, but we just have a basketball podcast as well, which is this. Follow Michael Epps on Twitter, Michael Epps TV, I believe. You can find all of our guys' ads off of one of our pages. We'll all be intertwined there. But I think we're headed out. This Zoom call is about to head off of here. So, Tim, thanks for running the show and keeping the lights on for us. And happy to do this again. We'll probably catch up maybe after the Ole Miss game. So Gonzaga, Ole Miss, and we'll get our thoughts and preview Auburn as well right after that. So